NQ fam, how's everybody doing? Hope everybody had a great Friday. Looking forward to a great weekend, short weekend. Thanksgiving week spoils everybody, but then you gotta go back to the regular scheduled weekends, which don't seem as long. All right, now we're looking forward to Christmas holiday. But anyway, again, hope everybody had a really good day. Today was really easy in DR world. If you follow the rules. And so let's talk about it. We have, both our charts up again. We have the ES on the left side and of course the NQ on the right side. And today was basically a mirror image of each other for the most part. At least that's when it comes to DR, right? So let's talk about it. I will say I did trade both today, and it was I said it was a pretty fun day. Let me shrink this down a little bit so we can see it. And again, if you look at the, you know, what the price action, you can see it's basically the same chart. There are some nuances in there, but I will tell you, I only took really one. I took two trades. Let me not say two. I did take two today. One was a DR trade, and then one was actually more of an ICT fair value gap trade. So let's jump right into it. Not going to do the high level recap today. We'll do that on Monday after we mark out everything on Sunday. So we do our Monday recap. We'll do the high time frame analysis piece. That might make a little more sense. All right, so let's go through. This was around a 20-point day on the ES, from a range standpoint. So right in our sweet spot. And let's talk about it. Now, I didn't worry about the DR setup today. As I watched both of them, we had this kind of movement on ES, that little triangle movement, and then we had like this, you know, kind of stayed up and consolidated at the top of before IDR, and then kind of came down. So really wasn't a lot I was looking for from just a bias standpoint. So I'm just gonna play it straight and see what happens, right? And what I mean by that is we confirmed high a little after 11. I want to say on both. Again, I had both of them up and I was just going back and forth, right? So we confirmed high, really nice retrace back down below IDR, again on both of them, okay? And so what are we looking for now? We put our order on. Let me get rid of that so we can see it, right? Orders, orders on, and away we go. Now we did have some. If you look, we did have some a little bit. It wasn't heat because we never got below. We never got anywhere, close to our stop losses. And did have one of the folks on the channel that said, "Hey, if you're going to do NQ, you might have to extend out your stop loss some." And so I did that. So I actually widened it out, got to a point where I was comfortable with the risk, and because again, NQ moves very well. Moves It moved the same in aggregate, but in the interim, NQ tends to move a lot faster for me. Okay, so and it'll make bigger type moves than I see on ES. At least that's my experience. So anyway, so I did move my stop loss down. Basically, we were probably sitting down close to where the point 0.5 fib was from a stop loss standpoint. Started out with five. You know, uh, five on my take profit. I moved that up pretty quickly on the ES, moved that up to 50. And then what I ended up doing, so if you look at this red square up here, right, that's a weekly, um, let me see, that's a fair value gap. And it's a weekly one, right? And it's bearish, which means price wants to come back down when it gets in there. Also, if you notice that green line, that is a weekly buy side. And so my thought was price wants to get to buy side because earlier in the week we were down on the sell side. Okay, so normally when we said price tends to move buy side to sell side to buy side, and kind of vice versa. And so I'm like, okay, it's Friday. They're going to want to take it up to buy side. Now, that's not me being, predicting anything. That's just me thinking, here's what I've seen happen in the past, and here's what I'm assuming is going to happen again. And so I moved my stop. Actually, I moved my take profit right literally at the bottom of this Geez, middle of the fair value gap, right? And now I did not have a fair value gap on NQ, but what I ended up doing was I basically put my stop. I take profit at the same spot, okay? Because I'm figuring if price is going to reject off of this fair value gap, even though there's not one over here on NQ, it's going to price wants to move the same, right? So it's going to actually probably do that as well, okay? So I moved that. So from here, that's 45.80. I got to about 45.94, 95 or something like that. I want to say it was 95 because I said I want to make it a round number. So that was 15, 15 points there. Okay. And then whatever this number was over here, I didn't count that. I just know the dollar amounts. I don't really count the numbers on NQ yet. Even, I mean, the only difference is $20 a point. So, I mean, yes, can I count that? So for 20, I could do all that stuff. And when I look at my P&L, I'm sure it's great. But that's the trade I took. That was it. I was really happy with, you know, both of those trades. And here's why I'm saying that is because I'm comfortable or confident in the trade. I have multiple contracts on. Okay, so one contract, two contracts, right? You move up. So I've been trading two contracts for a while, and so I'm now starting to move up into higher contract amounts because I'm getting more comfortable with those types of trades. And like I tell folks, we start out with MES where we're trading. It's a dollar with $1.25 a point, $1.25 a tick, right? $5 a point, and you start that way and you work your way up to where you're comfortable doing multiple contracts on MES, right? And then you get to a point, five, six, seven MES contracts where you're like, okay, let me go do an ES contract because now you're at 12.50 a point, okay? And then at 12.50 a tick, $50 a point. Sorry, I know I keep saying points for that one, but you're at $50 a point. So multiple contracts, you can kind of do the math, right? And how quickly that's going to add up, both whether, you're in profit or whether you're at a loss, okay? And so you have to be able to handle that sort of risk with those higher numbers. And so, again, I say that because a lot of people want to jump into futures and they want to just get in and start, oh, I'm going to make money, I'm going to do this. Those numbers are scary if you're not comfortable with those numbers. All right. The big numbers, they get scary very fast. Okay. So let's think about it, right? If I'm doing four mini contracts, right? That's $50 a point times four. That's $200 a point. Okay. So if I move up 5 points, it's $1,000. If I move down 5 points, I've lost $1,000, right? So that's what I'm saying. So you have to be very comfortable with that number, um, you know, versus if I'm doing four contracts on MES, that's $20 a point. I mean, $20, right? Or 200, yeah, $20 for 4 points, or $20 for four contracts on the point. So you can kind of see, again, how that adds up really quickly when you go higher. Okay, so I just want to point that out because again, I do have other people now. Oh, I can't wait to trade futures. I want to do this. I want to do that. And like, yeah, it's great. And I was very afraid of futures too because what I saw when I was watching people, trade futures, they were trading those big numbers because they had been working at it for a while and they were comfortable. And so I was always terrified of it. I'm like, ooh, that's a lot of money to lose very quickly, even with stop losses. Um, with the way price moves, right? It's a futures contract. So, but starting out again, minis and then working your way up, you get more comfortable. Okay, so um, that's my advice, quote unquote. My soapbox for the night is start really small, and of course start with paper trading. Right, that's what it's for. So you can learn how these moves work and then feel more comfortable with these moves. Because when it's your money, or if you're trying to do a prop firm and you pass your eval and now you're trading, to make money, that hits a little different. It hits a lot different. Not even a little different. Hits a lot different. All right. Anyway, I'm not gonna hold you too long on that one. And again, relatively easy day. Could I have been more aggressive today? Absolutely. But we had our buddy Powell speaking at 2 o'clock. I think he was at Spelman College. Go HBCUs. So I didn't want to get involved in that piece because who knows, whenever he talks, who knows what's going to happen. But what I will say is if you look, right, so that's the only trade I took. That was the only DR trade actually today, right? was just that 11 o'clock move. So if you missed that one, you could have done some, ICT stuff if you're comfortable with ICT. But again, look what happened, right? So we talk about how these things like fair value gaps and liquidity zones, how they work, right? 'Cause remember, a liquidity zone, in this case, a weekly buy side, there's contracts up here waiting to get filled, right? But they waiting to get filled to go that way, okay? And that's what's on that. That's what that buy side is, right? So I don't expect price to go right to the buy side and turn around. I expect it to go up into it, a little higher than that, pick those contracts up, and then turn around. But at the same time, we have this fair value gap that's bullish. And this is a weekly fair value gap from probably 3 months ago. All right. So once we get back here, again, I'm expecting price to come down. So, that's how, even when I'm out of the trade, what I'm looking at is just to confirm and make sure that my thought process is still valid. Are these things happening, right? Is price turning around like it's supposed to, right? Is this fair value gap, pushing price back down like it's supposed to? Okay. So that's what I mean by, watching the price and understanding what's supposed to happen. Even if you're not in the trade, that's how you learn. So when, if you're in that trade and you see this kind of setup, well, at some point I need to get out of this trade, right? Because otherwise I'm going to be, potentially I'm going to lose because price is going to want to come back down. All right. So just, I would say keep an eye on those things because that's, again, that's how you learn. All right. So anyway, that is the story for tonight and this week. I mean, overall, hope everybody really had a good week. This was a relatively painless week, right? I know we've had a couple weeks in the past where it's been hard to catch a right kind of DR trade. This whole week, honestly, was relatively easy. And like I said, I think yesterday, adding the NQ to my list was, I wouldn't call it a game changer yet. It just made it very easy to play, different games at the same time. All right. So anyway, I'm not going to hold you guys. Have a great weekend. Really appreciate each and every one of you. You know what we always say, love on your loved ones because you never know when you won't be able to do it again. So take advantage of each and every opportunity. And I appreciate you. Have a great weekend. And we'll start this again on Sunday and see what happens. All right. God bless.